ట్రంప్ ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయాలు 7 ముస్లిం దేశాలకు సంబంధించింది మాత్రమేనన్నారు ఇమిగ్రేషన్ లాయర్ జిన్నీ వాలియా. అమెరికాలోని బే ఏరియాలో ఆమె ప్రత్యేకంగా V6 తో మాట్లాడారు. ఇండియా నుంచి వచ్చేవాళ్లు వీసా డాక్యుమెంట్స్, జాబ్కు సంబంధించిన అన్ని వివరాలు ఉండేలా చూసుకోవాలన్నారు. కస్టమ్స్ అండ్ బోర్డర్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ అడిగే ప్రశ్నలకు కరెక్ట్గా సమాధానం ఇవ్వాలని సూచించారు. ఫేక్ కాల్స్ గురించి భయపడొద్దని చెప్పారు.
ప్రెసిడెంట్ ట్రంప్ ఇచ్చిన ఆదేశాలేంటి?
President Trump's executive order affects predominantly citizens of 7 countries. Those countries are Iran, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Sudan, and Yemen, and also Somalia. So basically, it bans all travel from these countries for 90 days, whether on immigrant or non-immigrant basis. In addition to this, it halts the Syrian refugee program indefinitely until further notice. It also halts resettlement of any refugees seeking to settle in the United States for the next 120 days, refugees from any other country as well. And this is the most serious effect of the executive order as it pertains to those 7 countries.
గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ ఉన్నవాళ్ళు ముఖ్యంగా భారతీయులపై ఎలాంటి ప్రభావం ఉంటుంది?
Green card holders that are from other countries, including India, should be okay to return, but they can be scrutinized further. By that I mean they can be screened and they can go through more investigation while they look to enter the United States. So it's highly advisable that you carry all your documents be in proper order, and you make sure that you do not overstay beyond what is allowed on any particular visa or on any green card.
ఇప్పుడున్న వీసాలను రద్దు చేస్తారా?
This executive order does not make any changes to the EB3 process or the green card processing as we know it. We know that this addresses the visa waiver, the interview waiver program, which basically says that this executive order basically abolishes the visa waiver program. What it says is that everybody would have to be interviewed in person. But in answer to your question, no, this order does not say anything about the EB3 category or how these petitions would be processed.
ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆథరైజేషన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ నిబంధనలు ఏమైనా మారతాయా?
H4 EAD rule could change, but we don't know anything at this time. Specifically, this order doesn't say anything about that.
H1B వీసాలపై ప్రభావం ఎలా ఉంటుంది?
With regards to your question about H1B visa holders, yes, it does suspend travel, and there is a travel ban for at least 90 days from the 7 countries that I just mentioned. All citizens of those 7 countries seeking to enter on an immigrant or a non-immigrant visa, which includes the H1B visas, will be prohibited from coming into the United States. However, it should not apply to other H1B travelers that are seeking to enter from other countries that are not on the 7-country ban list.
వీసా వేవర్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కొనసాగుతుందా?
The visa waiver program will no longer be there. They're saying that for all visas there would be an in-person interview.
విదేశీయుల్ని ప్రయాణాల్లో ఆపేస్తారా?
Not per se on India or any of the other countries that are not included in the 7-country list. But we will say this, that the Customs and Border Protection and everyone's not equally trained. All agents are not equally trained in when you enter or when you come into the United States. So all I can say is carry your documents, make sure everything is in order. They can use something as small as something missing to put you back on that flight. So it can potentially impact you. We don't know that this executive order says anything about halting non-immigrant visas from other countries aside from the 7 countries that I mentioned.
ఓపీటీ కింద అమెరికాలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి ఏంటి?
The executive order does not impact those things. It does not mention the F1 students or the OPT students. But once again, it obviously applies to the F1 students and the OPT students from those 7 countries. They can't re-enter. They can't enter. So it's highly advisable. In fact, if you want to return and you're a citizen of those 7 countries, do not leave the United States. You may not be able to re-enter. The program actually was clear initially on the fact that even the green card holders from those 7 countries wouldn't be able to re-enter. There's been some back and forth on how the green card holders should be allowed to re-enter. The current position is that the green card holders from those 7 countries would be allowed to enter on a case-by-case basis.
ట్రంప్ ఆదేశాలతో మరి ఇప్పుడున్న ఉద్యోగుల వేతనాలు పెరుగుతాయా?
No, the prevailing wage is not to change by this executive order. I wouldn't be surprised if something's coming up in the upcoming times that they're going to change the prevailing wage. This president has reiterated time again and again that he intends to increase the prevailing wage to basically eliminate any superfluous or any additional visas that he can, so that the US citizens would have those jobs. So I wouldn't be surprised if something passed that increased the prevailing wage to a 6-figure wage.
B1 B2 లాంటి పర్యాటకుల వీసాలపై కూడా ప్రభావం ఉంటుందా?
This order doesn't talk particularly about that, but I think that since we are living in times that can fairly be characterized as anti-immigration times, could there be a cut or further scrutiny or too harsh of a treatment in using their discretion to allow B1, B2 individuals, even if they're parents of green card holders, to enter the United States? I think we can safely assume that it could happen. Does this refer to it? No, it doesn't refer to it. This executive order basically says no travel for at least 90 days from those 7 countries. That includes B1, B2. But when we say something about the outside countries, outside of those 7 countries, it doesn't specifically say anything about B1, B2 visas.
వీసాలతో వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు ధీమాగా ఉండొచ్చా?
That people that are in the processing of H1 visas, B1, B2 visas, F1 visas, green cards that are traveling from any other country outside of those 7 countries are presumably safe. Don't stop your travel. Don't stop the applications. Don't take it to be a sign that this is all over. We believe that at this time, all of these candidates that are not from these 7 countries are safe to travel. So take all the precautions, make sure you have all your documents in order, and proceed as you would.
అమెరికా లోపల ప్రయాణాల్లోనూ తనిఖీ చేస్తారా?
The short answer is no. However, I have heard stories of people on the street just being questioned by law enforcement, being asked about their origin and immigration documents. We advise everyone to carry your driving licenses, immigration documents, identity documents with you. But the short answer is there shouldn't be any issues with domestic travel, because you don't have to go through immigration inspection when you travel from one state to another.